facilitator on call, and we'd love to introduce him right now. I don't know if you can ginger me a bit so that I'll be able to give the introduction. Are we happy? Are we ready for the next session? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so our next facilitator is Mr. Precious David-Ogaga, a seasoned broadcast journalist and multimedia design strategist with over a decade of experience. He produces and presents Greek Code, a science, technology, and health-focused program, and manages the award-winning health program Health Watch. He is a 2024 Fellow of the Digital Public Infrastructure Journalism Fellowship, where he has reported on Nigeria's digital ID systems, internet access gaps, and the adoption of open source tools in public service delivery. Precious is also a 2025 MTN Media Innovation Program Fellow, leveraging digital tools to enhance storytelling in the evolving media landscape. His commitment his commitment to public interest journalism is further demonstrated through fellowships in gender mainstream, that's data fair, media fellowship, epidemiology, infodemiology, and social and behavioral change BRICS communication fellowship, and the PowerShift Africa Fellowship, which focus on youth-led accountability. Across his work, he uses broadcast media to simplify complex digital issues and promote inclusive development through West Africa. So join me in welcoming our next facilitator, Mr. Precious David-Ogaga. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, Amina. Sometimes when you read these things, you ask yourself if you're the one they're talking about. Thank you for having me, and good evening, everyone. Just to confirm that you're hearing me, can I get some emojis before I proceed? Great, thank you. So it's a privilege to share my thoughts with you this evening, and I'm very sure we're going to have a nice time. Thank you to our former speaker, Grace. You did marvelously well, and I've learned a thing or two about how I can enhance my course with the social media platforms, and I'm very sure most of us have picked something from that session. I'm just going to build on that and see how we can progress in the next couple of minutes. I'll need to, let's go on to the next slide. So today I'll be speaking on building and sustaining online communities. Yes, so former speaker spoke about being online, having to share your voice, and that your phone is a megaphone and that you can use it. So, but something about life is that when we talk about building communities, do this alone. How do I do this? I need to get people to come along with me on this journey that I want to proceed. And then like they say, the team, we talk about teams, and people activate teams to be together, each achieving more. And so that's what happens when you come together to build communities. And then online communities are not just places where people gather, maybe like chat groups or fan pages. No, they are vibrant ecosystem that foster belonging. That is, they come together because they want to co-create, they want to advocate for things, and they want to have a collective impact. That is why we have online communities. So in today's world, it's a community where we may not even see ourselves physically, but because we have this common advocacy and impact that have at the back of our mind, we want to come together to build stuff. And then if you go to the next slide, thank you. So what is more like, I want us to get a proper definition of what an online community is about. And so an online community is a group of people with a shared interest or goal, and they interact in a virtual space using digital tools. And this space allows members to connect, engage, collaborate, and take actions irrespective of their geographical limitations. So what you need to take from these is that, one, they come with a shared interest or goal. So you cannot be in a community when you don't have the interest of that community, or when you don't even know the goal of that community. That is why we come together. So the very first point is that we come together with a shared interest, and we do that interacting in a virtual space. In a virtual space, because we may not see ourselves, but no matter where we are, no matter where we find ourselves, we can always talk to ourselves because we have a common goal. And this space allows us to do what? Connect. So because we have that virtual space, we can connect, we can engage, and then we can collaborate and do stuff, and then we can take actions irrespective of geographical locations. I'm still on the other side, I've not moved yet. So the three, from the definition of what an online community is, we have three framework, which I would want us to always remember. So summarily, an online community has three framework. One, the purpose. Two, the people. And three, the platform. That's why it's talked about sharing what interest, our shared interest. So that's going to be our purpose. Don't forget that the three P's that makes up an online community. One, our shared interest, which is our purpose. And then the people, because people have to come together. And then the platform, which is what the definition talks to us about, the digital tool. So that's the platform. So if you have those three P's in front of your mind, you always be able to know why a community is set up. So just for emphasis, we have three P's, which is purpose, people, and then platform. But why do online communities matter? You can go to the next slide now. Thank you. So why do they matter? Why do we need to form communities? One, it helps us foster that solidarity and support, especially around our shared struggles or aspiration. If you remember our definition, we said they have a common goal. And with that community, we'll be able to achieve that goal, because like they say, a tree cannot make a forest. It's only when we come together, we cannot become a forest and our voice can be heard. So apart from having a common goal and having to meet up our intended target, it's also a platform where we can learn from one another. We can also have mentors from that place, and we can also co-create. So because we're coming from different backgrounds, different experiences, we share experiences, and with that, we can learn from one another. And we also have people in communities where they've gone ahead of us, so we can also learn from their experience, and they can be our mentors. And for those that are over the advanced, we can also get to mentor people that are below us, in quote, not like below. What I mean is in terms of experience. So those that are more experienced can teach those that are coming up and will learn. So one of them is to foster solidarity and support. The other is to learn, pair learning, mentorship, and co-creation. And of course, when we have a community, that's more like a launch pad for our movement, our campaign, and policy engagement. And the long-term engagement spans beyond just a single campaign. So because when we come together and we have a goal, if, for example, we're saying our goal is to better Nigeria in general, it doesn't mean that after our first campaign, if you come out and say, okay, we want to do this by wanting everybody to clean their streets in the morning, if we are successful at that campaign, we can pick up some other thing and then run with it. So that's why it also has the point why where it can deliver long-term engagement beyond lifespan of a single campaign or engagement. So when now we've known what an online community is, we've known why it matters. So the next phase is, how then can you build an online community? Can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So how then can we build an online community? Don't forget the framework I talked about at the beginning. The first framework, the three P's. Just to remind you so that you get it, is that purpose, don't forget, people and platform. Purpose, people, and platform. So if you have that framework already, how then can you build an online community? One, you clarify the purpose. What is the reason, if you can get the why? Because every thriving community starts with a clear why. Like it is said, when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. So why do we have to come together as a community? Is it to educate? Is it to mobilize? Is it to support? Is it to create? Until we get that figured out, we cannot build a community. So first of all, we have to clarify our purpose. Why are we building this community? And then the next slide, don't forget it, purpose, place, and platform. The place, know your audience. Okay, so how do I get to meet these people? What platform of choice? And what's their real pain? So for example, if I'm not passionate about Nigeria and then you bring me to a community where Nigeria, there's no way I'll be helpful to the community. So you have to know those that need to be in your community. You have to know their needs. You can get So you could do surveys, you could go out and talk to people about things. When you see the interest of the people, that's what makes you, okay, these people have this kind of interest, we can now form a community, and then we'll have a common goal. And of course, when you've been able to do that, if you've been able to clarify the purpose of why we need the community, you've been able to get the interested set of people. The next thing is to choose the right platform to use, because not every platform will be able to help you deliver your targeted goal or project. So when you have been able to clarify the purpose, you've been able to know your audience, the next thing for you to do is what? Choose the right platform, because different communities thrive on different platforms. So the examples of our digital platforms: Telegram, WhatsApp. Of course, with that, you can do a lot of grassroots mobilization, rapid response, instant responses. Then we've got Facebook groups for broader engagement. And if, for example, you have a course that is targeted towards tech-based people, you could use platforms like Slack, Discord, and the rest. So we have so many platforms, but you have to not decide the platform. So don't forget 3 things in the phases of building an online community. First of all, is to know the why we're gathered. You get to clarify the purpose. Number 2 is to know your audience. And then the third thing is to choose the right platform. And then after you've been able to do this, and then we have a running community, what then is the next phase? We've been able to come together. We've known our purpose. We've gotten the right audience. We've chosen the right platform. But when you build something, the next thing is to see how you can sustain it over time. And then how do we sustain it? Can we please move to the next slide? The first thing I would advise, after building your community, you've known why we're together, you've gotten the people, we've chosen our platform. How do we keep these platforms running? Because we don't see ourselves. And, having to keep people virtually, you need to engage them. So the first thing I would suggest is that you get a content strategy built and developed for your community. You could be weekly prompt, it could be daily prompt, it could be that, okay, this week we're going to take this topic and talk about it. We have to have a theme discussion, and then each of the community members can be spotlighted and say, okay, we're going to pick up somebody this month and say, this is what this person is doing, and this is his work. These are just things to keep the community active, and so that we don't lose out of our goal over time. So we can have live sessions, webinars, AMAs, which is what we call Ask Me Anything. This is what we call content strategy to help your community sustain over a period of time. Then number 2 suggestion I'll give is that you promote core members to moderators. So for example, you see somebody that is so much active in the community, and then you're like, oh, this person is doing well. It's not just being a member. This person can also inspire because of what he or she is doing. You promote those people up. They can become moderators. They can take leadership positions, and then help in also developing and driving engagement. And that's what we call decentralizing of leadership. And then it makes them also own the process, and not just that, okay, we're part of the community. No, this is our community. And then you see this collective effort, and with that, you can sustain the community. Next slide, please. Thank you. And then, of course, when people do activities, birthdays, acknowledge members, acknowledge their achievement. Oh, this person did this campaign in so and so local government. This is what he or she was able to achieve. And over time, when you see those results, people talk about them. It also inspires you to want to do more. So we celebrate milestones and wins. And of course, using the platform that we are dealing with, we can now track our metrics. That's the fourth option I'm proposing. So don't forget, the first option is content strategy. The second is empowering members to lead. The third is celebrating milestones. And the fourth is tracking our metrics. And for Facebook, you can use Facebook Insights, Telegram Analytics. Why you have to do this? For example, you should be able, as a moderator or as someone that leads a community, to know when do people engage more, what time of the day is convenient for them, what topic interests them more, what. So with things like this, you're able to know how to sustain it so that people don't become bored and tired of the community, but they have to stay engaged over time. And then, but for everything we build, and develop, no matter where we find ourselves, there are always challenges that we will encounter. And is this, so the next slide, please. But this is not just like a summary of the challenges you encounter. Of course, life is dynamic. So I just picked a few, and then in the course of your work, you always encounter challenges, but you always be so provided there's a challenge, then there's always a solution to that. So for low participation, I said you could use polls, you could do quizzes and giveaways to encourage members to participate. So if you're noticing that, oh, in this community, the engagement level is quite low, what can I do? Come up with quizzes, come up with giveaways. And then if you come and notice, oh, the burnout among leaders, because sometimes as leaders, we may be doing some functions and we get tired of it, maybe because we've done it over time or we are not so fit for that position. What can we do? We can delegate roles, we can rotate moderators, just do. Sometimes government even do cabinet reshuffle. So we can just reshuffle leadership, and that can also help burnout among leaders. And of course, toxic behaviors. Wherever you have people, you will always have issues. You always have people that want to break the rule. But because it's a community and we agree that this is what we've come to do and we have a goal in front of us, we have to implement community guidelines and moderation. So everybody has to stick with the guidelines and moderation that are set for the community. Those are, you will always encounter that where you have people. So, but with those implemented guidelines and community guidelines and moderation, we're able to keep everybody in check and our goal is achieved. And of course, for people at different time of those time zones and locations, you cannot always assume that everybody will read. Some people prefer voice notes. Some people want to read. So I think you also part of, so if you manage a community, you also want to see how you can mix your content with the platform you work with to be able to just get everybody on board. So before, just a quick reminder that don't forget that community is built on 3 framework, which is purpose, what you're trying to drive at, what change are you driving at, the people, because we have to foster solidarity, we have to learn from one another, and that's a place to launch our movement and of course drive long-term engagement. And we said the phases to build is to clarify your purpose, to know your audience, and of course to choose the right platform. And in conclusion, I want to say that online communities are not just they're not just about numbers. So we come together and we're 1,000 in this group or 2,000 in this group, and then we don't have a clear purpose. That's not a community for me. Can go to the next slide, please. So that's not a community for me. So for me, a community is not just about the numbers. It's about the purpose, the connection, and of course continuity. The purpose in the sense that we've agreed that this is coming to do. Yes. And then we're connected on the platform, and then we'll be able to sustain it. That this is our goal, and over time we'll make sure this happens. So whether it's a civic movement or it's a network or it's a platform to share knowledge, whatever it is, a community must be rooted in value. It must be rooted in value. That's what guides us. Then inclusive leadership, because everybody has to be involved, and intentional design. That's where the community guidelines comes in, because if there is no design, it's like you want to build a house and you don't have a plan. What happens? You cannot just come and say, oh, put the room here today, tomorrow take the room from. No, it has to be designed. So it has to be rooted in value. We have to have everybody involved as a leadership and intentionally designed. And of course, PowerShift is a perfect example of how we've been able to build a community that's not just about us, but it's about how we can transform and catalyze transformation one conversation at a time. So in summary, I would say a community is not just built on access, it's built on belonging. So if you find yourself in a community and you are not part, so it's not because you're here means I'm in a community. No, active participation, that's what makes you part of a community, and that's what also makes a community successful. So in summary, a community is not just built on access, it's built on belonging. Thank you very much, and I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not confuse you that community is something we need to build on, and it's something everybody needs to be a part of. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Precious. That was a wonderful session. Like, wow. So now it's time for questions. Ask your questions if you have any. We have enough time to respond to questions today. So bring it on.
idon ki biyu kuma ba za ki tashi ba don me wani dalili an sassaita miki ko da an bar miki haka.
So I think okay. Shamsuddin, Sir Shamsuddin, you can go ahead. Hello, can you unmute your mic?
Good evening to you all. Good evening to you all.
Okay, you go ahead.
You made mention the challenges you may face, like low participation and online communities. So I need more explanation on solution to this problem on low participation.
So if I get you right, you said you need more explanation on,
Yes,
is it
like
low
low
participation?
participation and online communities. Yes. So you explained the
Low
solution, but
participation in online communities. Mr. Precious.
Is that question for me?
yes, sir.
Yes.
So how to improve low participation in online communities? Is that what you asked?
Yes, sir. On how to solve the problem.
Okay. So the first thing is when I was talking. So the first thing is, first of all, what's the framework? The people you have. Okay, now you have a common purpose. Yes. Then that you've been able to answer the P from the framework. The next thing is the persons. Then you have to ask yourself the question: the people you have in that community, are you sure they have that purpose in mind, or they are just there because they want to be there? So one thing you can do is understand your audience. So you could create a survey among the members, so you get their interests, their struggles, their expectations, whatever they think around. So if you do that, it can also help you. You have a good data to work with. So with that data, you're able to now tailor your content and conversations and see how you can engage. That's one. Because whether you like it or not, without the people, the community does not exist. So if you do that, you're able to do your segmentation and know, okay, if these people are really interested in the common purpose of this community that they belong. And of course, consistently, you have to also remind human beings. You have to also remind members why the community exists. So if you are able to do that and you've gotten that segmentation, you also a reminder why. So once in a while, you talk about the reason why we exist. Then, if you've been able to go through that first part, you've been able to get the right people, the reminder. Then, of course, you could do your weekly. I talked about the content strategy, so it'd be easy for you to know what to do on the weekly days. For example, motivation Wednesday, Mondays, action Fridays. Just something that keeps people along the line with the goal that you've already set. And I think if you do those few stuff, I think it will help them, because the truth is, you may have a lot of people, but they are part of the community. No, they are just there for numbers. So because they are just there. But if you are not part of it, like I told you at the end of my presentation, you can be in a community, but if you're not active, then you're not in a community. So being in a group and not being active does not make us a community. A community means everybody is included, inclusive leadership. So everybody is part of it. We bring in solutions, we bring in contributions. And I think if you can do that, so the first thing first, I think you do is create a pool, get to know the interests of the people in that community. With that, you'll be able to move from there, because there's no straight answer to the problem. The problem comes from the data you derive from this first suggestion that I just made. And I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Thank you for the response, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. So we also have a question from Henry Anojiri. I guess I pronounced it right today. Anojiri Henry. You can mute your mic and speak.
Okay, good evening. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, okay. My name is Anujo Henry. Yes, my question is to the first facilitator, Grace. Yes, is around social media for advocacy and activism. Yeah, social media has been a tool for advocacy and activism, and it has been a force for change. Just like she mentioned, bring back our girls, NSAS, Black Lives Matters, lots of social media policies and other activism that social media has influenced. But my take now is on the other side, the unethical use now of social media. I know recently there's been a clamor for people raising their voices, trying to uh, talk about policy, the law the National Assembly want to a bill. Let me say that
Yeah,
was sponsored in National Assembly for
yeah.
social media. I don't know if, based on the research now, is it good that we have a law to regulate the activities of the social media? Because you see, unlike the traditional media now, where you have editors, you understand, going to verify information if it's true, if it's correct, the fact checked before they put it out there in public domain. But these days now, you have virtually people, amateurs, everybody with phones in their hands, and every little thing they see, they just rush to social media and post. I would have first verifying if these information are true or not. Do we need to regulate social media so that we can couple this unethical use? And if people are talking about it being kind of like silencing people now, people have right to express freedom of expression. Now, if you regulate social media now, it's like you are trying to stop people from expressing their views about issues. Do we need to regulate social media? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. So, if I get your question correctly, you want to know if there's a way we can regulate the use of social media, right?
Yes, yes, without people feeling that okay, they are right now to freedom of expression. Now you understand, like it has been taken. Yes, yes, that's what I mean.
All right, thank you so much. Ma'am Grace, are you ready or we should take other questions?
I'll take other questions, then I'll answer at once.
Okay, okay. So can we have it's well. Your hand has been up since. You can have the floor.
Okay, thank you so much, Amina. Um, my question is to Mr. Precious, and it's in regards to social media participation, the issue of participation. There's something that I noticed. In fact, I personally had to take time to observe my audience and see what causes the low participation uh, in terms of engaging with whatever I'm talking about in my posts and all of that. So I noticed that anytime I make a post and it is accompanied with a picture that aligns with the theme of what I'm talking about, I have very less engagement on the post. But then if I make any post that I attach a picture, let me say for instance of myself, I get more people to engage with the post, but then they deviate from the theme I'm talking about to the picture. So they tend to comment based on the picture and not on what. In fact, I dare to say that they don't even read the posts, because a lot of times I will make a post and then at the end of it, I will give like an engaging statement that you could put your input and all of that. And I will notice that it's just a few persons that would take note of that and actually respond in the comments. But the rest will be like nice pics. You look this, you look that, you understand. Yeah, so I don't know. Could it be that I'm targeting the wrong people, or is the strategy that is not working? Yes, so is it that the people are not interested in what I'm talking about? That's what I'm asking. Or I'm using the wrong platform for the right reasons? Or is there anything I can do that would make people engage more with or without a nice picture of something or someone?
Okay, can I just answer quickly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this one thing, just get it clear in your mind first of all. So of course, what I thought was on building communities. If we're building communities, we will not have this problem because we all have a shared goal, a purpose, and we already have a plan on how to achieve it. But your question is more on a generalized platform, which I'll just give you three simple things to do. First of all, have it in mind that social media reactions and impressions are not always right. Like you see, the example you cited, when you put a picture that is supposed to talk about what you're talking about, nobody responds. You put a picture and somebody's telling you nice picture, and what you wrote is different from what is there. So the easiest thing to do when you're on social media, for me, it's a personal principle. I look at it like I'm sowing a seed. I have something I need to talk about. I put it out there. The truth is, some people will read it and learn from it. Yes, you have people read and not even react. They will not even like, they will not share, but they've learned from it. You've brought out the right information and you have sown a seed somewhere that you do not know. But that, because if what you're doing is right and you're very sure it's right, keep at it. Forget the reactions you will get, because most reactions that come on social media do not relate to what you post. It's a general knowledge. So, and if you keep on saying, okay, you want to get interactions and engagement and forget about the value you're bringing, you miss out of it. So keep at the value you're bringing and forget the reactions and whatever conversations you are there. But the truth is, said, the day you put a controversial topic on that same platform, you think people are not reading and reacting, you will see what happens. So keep your value on point, stay on it, and just keep planting the seeds. Of course, you always get the harvest, but you don't know how or where, but the harvest will be sure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Precious. We have a question from Zakar.
Hello, good evening. My question goes to the Mr. Precious. Mine is just like I used to have an online communities in different platforms, but I have an issue in terms of how I can retain this thing. So my question is that what are the strategies can I use to grow and retain these my community members? Thank you.
Strategies to grow and retain your community members, right? Did I get it right?
Yes.
Okay, so if we build on the question that our former, sorry, I didn't get the name, asked, that's the first thing. Are you very sure? Also, I'll need your feedback here. First of all, are you able to define the purpose of the community, and are you very sure that the members of that community have the same goal like you, the leader? Are you sure? Or let's say 80% of the people in that community, they have that same purpose that you have in mind. Have you been able to do that segmentation?
Yes.
Okay, if that is done and you're very certain, then yeah, so that's the very first thing first. You have to clarify your value proposition. Yeah. So if you are done with that, two things I know make people engage a lot is when you share real life stories. So is it possible you have a story from somebody somewhere that helps to drive the purpose of why that community is? If you can share real life stories, photos, or videos of the reason why you guys are together, the purpose, it also helps. Then, because people do not just follow messages, they follow movements. It's like, okay, this is what's happening, or this is why this person did it. So you just drop a message and let me just see it. So if you've been able to clear that, you have that value proposition, and then try and see how you could use this power of storytelling, that helps to engage people a lot. Then where possible, you can leverage partners. You can bring in third party once in a while. to come talk with them. That can also drive engagement and also inspire them to do more. Then at that point, you can now involve them by saying, okay, what do you think we can do next? You get feedback from them. Sometimes you can even tell them, okay, invite people, like a referral challenge. You get, this is what we want to do. These are costs. Can you speak to 1, 2, 3 people about this and then bring them in so they can also get involved? And then if you can also look at the platform, if the platform you're using, if it's also the right platform. Sometimes we may have this whole idea, but our launchpad may not be the perfect place. So is that also, you may also want to sit down and review. But if all those are in form, I think what you can do is, like I said, your value is already clear. Try and use the power of storytelling, get third party once in a while. You can get influencers or people that could just come talk to them. And then once in a while, don't forget to always create content that keeps them engaged. So not just dropping messages. The content should also keep them engaged. And like the things I mentioned while presenting, engagement routine, I talked about celebrating wins and achievements. So sometimes you can pick someone from the community and say, what's your project? What are you doing this week? What are you doing this month? Is there somehow we can be part of it, help you to achieve it? Or somebody is done with the project, the person can come around and talk about it, and then you listen. And I think with that, you'll be able to get your community up and running and engaged. But don't always forget the place of feedback. Try and always get feedback, because with that data, you'll be able to analyze and see where you're missing out and what can be improved over time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Do we have more questions? It's well, Anujiri, Shamsuddin, your hands are still up. It's well, do you have another question you want to ask? Okay. Mr. Oji Henry, you can unmute your mic and speak.
Okay, thank you very much. I think my question hasn't been answered.
Okay, the question for the first speaker, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please, can you re-ask your question?
Okay, my question is in the light of the way countries and governments are of the world, other countries of the world are directly investing in their social media footprints. Do we really have a targeted, as a country, Nigeria, do we have a targeted budget for investing in how we bring up our development, not political, not politically directed ones, but that show the level of development that we have in a country and individual states, even to the local government level? Do we have such targeted budgetary investments?
Is it investments on online communities?
Not necessarily online communities, but investment to look for, or how would I call it now? To look for these developmental strides, because I believe there are some levels of development in the country that are not being shown to the world. And as such, you would see that some of them are dying. Some of those ideas are dying because they are not being sponsored or they are not even being heard. So that's why I'm asking the question.
Okay, I thank you.
Can I answer that?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so Mr. Oji Henry, right? If I'm right, yeah. So Nigeria as a country do not have a specific budget for social media. It doesn't. Yeah, it's on the national budget. You can't find it, but through their agencies and ministries, they have budgets in those ministries for that. So that's also something that we have not looked into. It's something that we should also pay attention to. So I know Ministry of Information and NOA, Ministry of Communication and Innovation. What's that new? Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy. Yeah, those ministries have budget for things like that, but on a national budget, it's a no. And I get you where you talk about people not knowing most of these developments that are happening. So the way it is basically now in this country is that for everybody that has a political office, they have like a social media department that helps them to do stuff. But of course, they're not even doing as much as they do. That's why we don't also see the progress in court sometimes. But to answer your question directly, Nigeria as a country does not have that budget. They don't have that plan. But each of these ministries, they do that. So that's why you hear funds are allocated for media campaigns, public awareness, digital communication, and also social media monitoring. So that's how it works for Nigeria as a space now. So, but it's only during the political era that you now see they spend more money and time there. But when they are in power, they really do not face that. So Nigeria does not have a spend on social media related activities. No official standalone budget on that yet. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Precious. So we also have a question unanswered by Anujiri for the first speaker. The question is asking if social media needs to be regulated. There's a need to regulate social media. Hello, can we have the answer to that question? Hello, I think Ma'am Grace is having network issues. Mr. Precious, please, if you can help us.
Okay, so so there's no straight answer to that. You can't say yes, you can't say no. But so I'll come from two sides, and then we can decide on what works for us. Is it good to regulate social media? Yes. Yes, in the sense that it will help curb misinformation. We have a lot of fake news everywhere. You see people pick videos of 2002 and just bring it up and say it's happening now live. That's with things like that, people like that should be sanctioned. Yes. So it will help to reduce fake news everywhere. Remember during the COVID, we saw where people died from baiting water with salt. When they said, oh, when you bait water with salt, and so people that had hypertension condition didn't even remember they were hypertensive. They go take their bath with cold water and salt, and then you see them dying. And at the end of the day, they added to the death mortality of that whole phase. So it will help curb misinformation. That's basic. And then, of course, it will help to protect vulnerable groups, especially children, minorities, victims of online abuse, and the rest. Then it will also, that's where I enjoy, if regulation comes in, accountability. It will make people responsible for what they post and share. And of course, how data is used. And then it will promote fairness where monopolies, where transparency is not really there, because you now have content moderation, advertisement moderations, and the rest. I don't know, recently on Facebook, you see a lot of people, you see something like NNPC logo, and the advert there is from NNPC. But when you go deep down, you see that it wasn't NNPC that paid for that advert. So things like that, with regulations, we can get that sorted. But the only problem, which is the no aspect, is that you may have threat to freedom of speech. So government cannot use that to silence people, you get. Then, of course, censorship and abuse. Laws may not be misused to suppress opposition voices in terms of political issues or minority voices. And then there'll be too much control, which can also limit the creativity and startup growth. Because whether you like it or not, social media has also helped a lot of people in terms of economic development. So, but when there are those regulations, it will stifle that innovation. That's why I said it's a yes and no option. So you cannot be actually with your answer and say, oh yes, it should be regulated, or it shouldn't. But if it has to be regulated, I think the approach that should be done is there should be. So why we're also scared of regulation is because of the way our country is, where we make laws and then these laws are not being enforced and enacted. But I think if regulation needs to be done, it should be done in a transparent way and based on human rights, where everybody is involved, so civil society, tech experts, and everybody is involved, so that there'll be a place for balance, freedom, and responsibility. But for me, there is more advantage. On a personal note, there is more advantage in regulating social media than because the truth be said, the misinformation on that platform is a lot. So it's not a yes, it's not a no, but if you have to put the pros and cons on the table, I think it will be more advantageous to regulate it at the long run. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you so much, Mr. Precious. So, if what I get from what you're trying to say is that there's a need for regulation, but to some extent. So, there should be a limit to the regulation. Am I right?
Yes, but it should be transparent enough to be able to carry everybody along. So not because some people want it in a certain way. So it's, of course, a smart regulation that protects the right of everybody and speak against the laws and freedoms and not reduce the freedom of expression of people. Yeah. So if at all it has to be done, it should be transparent. Everybody should be carried along, and then it should not stifle innovation, and we'll be fine.
All right, thank you so much. I'm going to take the last question for the day from Mr. Najibullah. Najibullah, please go ahead.
Well, good evening, Amina. I wanted to respond to the other question I was just asked, but he has answered the question and done justice to it, so I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So let's appreciate our facilitators for today. I believe they have done justice to anything regarding social media, online building online communities, and how to sustain it. Thank you, thank you, thank you to Grace, to Precious. We really appreciate you. And for everyone that joined, I also appreciate you. So briefly, before we close, I have a few announcements. The first one is regarding the assignments. I've been receiving the submissions, but I just want to say that I'm going to submit a link to the WhatsApp group, to the general group. So all leaders should make the submissions. One leader from each of the groups should make the submission. Thank you. Then another thing is regarding your project. What I want to believe is that by now you already have project topic and you have the implementation process and you're even planning on ways of how you're going to carry out your project already. And another exciting news I want to share with you is that if you really want to tap from the knowledge of our mentor, if you want to tap a bit from the knowledge of Mr. Nonso Namani, the CEO and founder of PowerShift Africa, don't miss tomorrow's class. It's going to be elite. So please try and not miss tomorrow's class. It's going to be exciting. So I'm hoping to see you all tomorrow. Thank you for joining and have a great and wonderful evening.
It's time for a power shift. Roll the beat, let's go. We've got to stand. It is now, there's no better time. Now is the time to stand up strong. For Nigeria of our dreams, this is our time, young people. We've got to walk for the right thing, no matter what. Now is the time to stand up strong. For Nigeria of our dreams, we've got to talk, we've got to act. You better start with what you have. Don't fold your arms and keep complaining. For the time to act is now. We may be young, but we are smart. It is now more than ever for a power shift. Setting the pace, we are united. For a new Nigeria. Oh, from the north to the south. Oh, from the east to the west. Oh, it is time, Nigeria. It is time for a power shift. Oh, from the north to the south. Oh, from the east to the west. Oh, it is time, Nigeria. It is time for a power shift. Yeah, yeah. It is time for a power shift. So me say now, roll the beat, let's go. We've gotta stand. It is now, there's no better time. Now is the time to stand up strong for Nigeria of our dreams. This is our time, young people. We've gotta walk for the right thing, no matter what. Now is the time for a power shift for Nigeria of our dreams. We've gotta talk, we've gotta act. You better start with what you have. Don't fold your arms and keep complaining. For the time to act is now. We may be young, but we are smart. It is now more than ever for a power shift. Setting the pace, we are united for a new Nigeria. Oh, from the north to the south. Oh, from the east to the west. Oh, it is time, Nigeria. It is time for a power shift. Oh, from the north to the south. Oh, from the east to the west. Oh, it is time, Nigeria. It is time for a power shift. Yeah, yeah. It is time for a power shift. It is time for a power shift. Yeah, yeah. It is time for a power shift. So we say, oh, from the north to the south. Oh, from the east to the west. Oh, it is time, Nigeria. It is time for a power shift. Oh, from the north to the south. Oh, from the east to the west. Oh, it is time.